morning. Happy Thursday, active recovery day. So our workout is called With You. We're doing a 25-minute AMRAP, and it's going to consist of 2 minutes on any machine or your non-machine options, 2 rounds of strict Cindy. We'll go over what that means, and then 120 dumbbell under skips, or if you don't have a skipping rope or jumping's not good for you, then we're going to do toe taps. So let's go over the options. So Cindy is, 1 round of strict Cindy is 5 strict pull-ups, 10 push-ups, and then 15 air squats. You can adjust this to 3, 6, 9 or even 4, 9, 12, okay, as different options for variations of the reps. As far as variations for the movement, so pull-ups, obviously you can band your pull-ups if you're doing pull-ups. Make sure they're strict, so no kipping allowed, and make sure when you're pulling up and back first, touching, and then gently pushing yourself away. That doesn't mean we're pushing into a kip, just controlled both ways. And you could do supinated or pronated for your pull-ups if that's what you're going to do. If you don't have a pull-up ring or pull-ups under in your real house, obviously you can do ring rolls as well, making sure that body stays nice and rigid. You're squeezing the shoulders back and down and everything's moving as one. We're not bending our knees or moving our hips back and forth to help with that movement. It's all upper back that's pulling, okay? If you don't have either of those options, then we're going to use a dumbbell. And we're going to do single arm rows for today. So the first round of your 2 rounds, you're going to do one side, and then the next round you're going to do the other side. So single arm rows, we're in that staggered stance. That front elbow is on the front knee, so you're just sort of stacking those bones to get your position. Shoulders are back and down. That's my cat, he wants out. Shoulder back and down, and then you're going to roll almost so the dumbbell head hits like the back of your hip, and then extend. Okay, making sure we're not rotating too much with the thoracic, but that there will be a little opening of the chest and then back, so the shoulder's not left forward and you're rowing into your shoulder. Okay. As far as the push-ups are going to be the thing that wear out the quickest. So really important, don't go too hard on this. Okay, make it easier, very easier than not. So find something elevated in your house. Even like if you do knee push-ups normally, I would try like a really easy elevation on your table or countertop or back of your couch, something super easy to start with, just to like go through the movements. I want you to be able to do 10 unbroken all the way through this, so keep that in mind. So I use an elevated bar. Obviously that gives me a lot of options, but whatever you have in your house. If you don't really have anything for elevation in your house, a different variation that we can use, you can use the same dumbbell that you're using for your rows, and you can do a floor press. Okay, so you're going to bring the dumbbell up into your hips, come back down. You can have your knees on the ground or legs extended. Squeeze those shoulder blades underneath you. You're going to start the dumbbell lower than your nipple line, so for ladies, sort of at the base of your bra strap, so elbows right underneath there. And then from here, we're just going to press up and come back down. Okay, making sure the shoulders aren't rolling forward, so that's why we're going to squeeze those shoulders back and down. And we're going to use that as our variation. So you could load this up a little heavier if you have the option, but just a little different option for pressing today if you want to try that out, if you don't have a good option for an easy push-up. And then air squats. So review, shoulders about, or sorry, feet about shoulder width apart. Sitting back into that chair, staying as tall as you can, getting as deep as you can, driving through the legs and squeezing your butt at the top. If you don't have, or your squats aren't good for you today, glute bridges are a really good option. That's one of the ones that I did. So feet about shoulder width, foot length away from your butt, squeeze those shoulder blades. We're going to scoop that butt, so tilt that pelvis and drive the lower back into the ground first, and then drive to the heels and squeeze the butt, bringing the hips as high as you can, and then control back down. Okay, no weight for this. Another option is any one of these movements. If you want to add a mobility variation in instead of a weighted movement or a strength movement, feel free to do that. So I added in, instead of doing glute bridges is what the other option I did, but instead of doing air squats, I did 90-90s, okay, for one of my rounds, just to help my hips open up, give my knee a break, So feel free to play around with those. Let me know if you have any questions on those. As far as your warm-up, you're going to do 2 minutes on your machine, so we'll feel that out for the workout, just nice and gentle. And then as far as just some movements to get you warm and those things moving really well, we're going to do the 90-90s. So reaching that chest forward, driving the hip back, sitting nice and tall, driving the other hip to the ground, hands can be behind you. You're going to fan one leg at a time, coming to the other side, and back and forth. So I want you to do at least 5 rotations on each side for that. And then you're going to come up to a half kneeling position, front heel in front of that front knee to start with. Hands come inside that front foot. Let those hips sink forward first. Then we're going to rotate towards the knee. And then we're going to rotate away from the knee. And then we're going to grab that toe, push that butt back, little stretch to the back of that leg. Okay, and you're going to do at least 3 on this side, 3 to 5, and then switch and do 3 to 5 on the other side. And then the last thing we're going to do is a line rotation, cactus arm I'm calling it. So you're going to set up in your line rotation, knees at 90, anchor those knees with that lower hand, come over to that open position, and instead of our arms staying straight, we're going to actually bend it into cactus arm. We're going to shoulders back and down, drive that elbow to the ground, or drive it down towards the hip, and then extend it up overhead. Okay, so we're going back and forth, elbow or cactus arm, and then overhead position, just to open up the chest and the shoulder a little bit more, get that range ready for our upper body movements. Okay, doing at least 10 up and down on each side. And then once you're done that, I want you to choose your variations for your strict round to Cindy, and I want you to do 2 mini rounds, okay? So I would do the full pull-ups or rows, whatever variation you're doing there, and then maybe like 5 to 10 of the push-ups, and then maybe 5 to 10 of the squats, okay? And then do that 2 times, just figuring out the variations, making sure they feel good. And then do 50 skips or toe taps or whatever you're going to do for that variation. So again, I did toe taps today, so I wasn't jumping. For recovery, back to the ground I go. We're going to do line rotation again. So we're going to start with traces, same starting position. We're going to trace that hand up and over, following with our eyes, coming to the open T, and then back down to start with. So doing at least 5 of those, 5 to 10, just nice and gentle and slow. And then once we're done that on each side, we're going to lie on our back, bring our feet wider than our shoulders or our mat. One ankle is going to come on top of the other knee, and then we're going to let that knee come into the inside. So a little inter-rotation. If this is a little too much with the leg on top, just let that leg drop to the center, and you're going to hang out here for 10 breaths, okay? So breathing into the belly, exhaling and trying to let that knee relax, or just let your body relax and let gravity do the work, or that little assistance with that leg on top. Okay, so 10 breaths on one side, take a second, and then 10 breaths on the other side. And now I think that's it. Let me know how it goes, and as always, have fun. Make it your workout.